Hi guys, so my very first card is one from the Mystical Shaman Oracle, and it is number 29 with the Journey. The essence says the journey is an invitation to step outside the boundaries of your life as you know it. The journey is not a holiday. It is a call to be hermit-like and go on a pilgrimage to the unknown. There are no maps to the territory you will be exploring and no marked paths or road signs. And the invitation says, the time to embark on the great journey is here. Do not linger in the port when the distant shores are calling. Fearlessly draw your own navigational charts as you discover the route. When the time is right, as it is now, you will be led true, even when you are not sure of where you are going. It is the departure that is the most important. If you miss the boat, the great opportunity will be lost, and another ship may not arrive for a very long time. So I kind of feel like this is telling us that there is an opportunity, right? If we look at some of these other cards, they can kind of tell you that too. We're going to go with the tarot right now. So we have the Queen of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune in the first column. Now, this is telling me, as the energy that we're in, especially with this feeling of all these other cards, I feel like this is saying that, we're at a point where the Queen of Wands is somebody who is very confident in themselves, and they're confident in themselves because they know who they are, right? Sometimes she can come off as a little cocky, and sometimes she can come off as kind of a little stubborn and, I don't want to say the word aloof. What's the word I'm looking for? Maybe a little, it's what they say us Aries are all the time. A little impulsive, but she's comfortable with who she is, and she's very charismatic, and she's somebody who does care for others. She's somebody who's very nurturing and kind of allows other people to be themselves. So she's confident in a way that doesn't allow people, that doesn't stifle other people. She just knows who she is, and she knows who she wants. And I feel like with the Wheel of Fortune here, this is saying that this is a time, whether we're starting a new journey, because I really feel like that's kind of what we're doing. We finished this cycle that kind of allowed us to truly know who we are, whether this is a person, a collective, or however this resonates with you. This is a cycle that's ended, that I feel like we've kind of got to that point to where we know who we are. We know who we are, and that is a huge, huge milestone, I believe. And I feel like we're starting another journey. So, it never ends. It's always ongoing. And so the second column, I have the Ace of Pentacles and I have the Six of Cups. So in this area of our, what we need to focus on, whether it's to improve or to kind of like pay attention to. So the Ace of Pentacles can be an opportunity in a tangible opportunity, but I like to think of the Ace of Pentacles as something where this is kind of like having the highest perspective. To me, it almost feels like an elevated magician card, where the magician is where you kind of have all the tools and you know how to use them to create your reality. The Ace of Pentacles is kind of like, okay, now you have all that, but you also have the perspective. You're able to look back and kind of see the situation. And especially with the Six of Cups, because the Six of Cups is telling me that you're using the past emotions and lessons and all the things in the past that kind of gave you that good feeling that's kind of propelling us. So that I feel like this is telling us to tap into realizing that we do have the knowledge, we have the memories, whether they be deep-seated ancestral memories or just, we have the knowing. And I feel like it's an emotional, spiritual knowing, especially with the Six of Cups. Or it could also be just, that memory of a time when we were more innocent. A lot of times that can mean that as well. So I feel like this is an opportunity to use that at a higher perspective, to kind of use those lessons and those emotions to kind of help guide us along to this next part of our journey. Because I feel like there's a big opportunity coming for somebody. And so in our third column, we have the Lovers and we have the Nine of Wands. A lot of times the Nine of Wands can be like, being persistent. And I feel like if you are somebody that's in the Queen of Wands energy, you're definitely persistent. But the Nine of Wands also can kind of be like you're nearing the end of a spiritual journey. And again, I feel like we never quit, but you're nearing the end of that part of a spiritual journey. But this being our column of what we have available to us, what we have as our our ally, whether it be somebody around us or whether it be our own energy, I feel like this is more saying that we've just finished and we're, we've gotten to this point. So we're taking that stand, right? Because we have that knowledge. Remember, we've kind of been through that point where we know who we are. And I feel like also with the Lovers, this can mean like you have somebody that you have a deep connection, or whether you have a deep connection with that inner self or somebody else, or with spirit. This is something that you can utilize to kind of help you on that next level. But also with the 9 of Wands and the Lovers, this can also mean that there's a very important decision that can kind of be a turning point in your journey. So that can be something to kind of pay attention to. And if we shift over to the other side for a minute and down to the Moonology Oracle, it's telling us to take a breath out. It's telling us to, kind of relax a little bit. Sometimes I feel like I know what that means, because I remember there was a time when after this big, huge tower moment thing I had a while ago that kind of shifted me to this part where I'm at now. I remember like realizing that I never really took deep breaths. And then when I did, that's when I realized it was really crazy. I felt like I never breathed out. It's kind of like, waiting to exhale. It's that feeling of like, I think we're being told to do that. And I think that we're also being told that there's greatness on the horizon. And I feel like that's what this reading is telling us, that, I feel like that's what the journey is you're being prepared for something, and it just builds on to the next journey. And I kind of feel like that's what we're doing. We've kind of gotten to a point to where we're okay with who we are. We know who we are. We know where we stand spiritually. So now is the time to utilize that and do the thing, right? And so we go to the last row, and we have the Star and we have the 2 of Wands. So the Star, the Star is hope, it's inspiration. It's also can be like, wish fulfillment, that type of thing. I feel like with the 2 of Wands at the bottom, this is kind of saying that, we're kind of being told to let that feeling and to let spirit, and that's to actually let those inner feelings guide us. I know we say that all the time, but I feel like now we're ready, especially with, knowing who you are and knowing where we are spiritually. I feel like that's what this is saying. On this next level, we really are supposed to just let ourselves wander. And that brings me to the last 2 cards. We have wander, right? I feel like there's this freeness, and which also feels like that exhale kind of energy, where the tough part's over. Figuring out who you are, and I think sometimes we still work on that too, but getting that tough part where, if you feel lost and don't know who you are, getting that part figured out and really being comfortable with yourself and where you feel that you are in your journey and in your spiritual self is such a big thing to overcome. And I feel like it's a big achievement. So I feel like there's an opportunity that's going to be happening, and we're supposed to be letting our inner self guide us. And I say supposed to be, I don't know why I say it like that, because really it's, it doesn't need to feel that way. Maybe that's why I said that, because I need to highlight the fact that it doesn't need to feel like something we're supposed to do. I feel like it's something that we're supposed to feel like we're awed by, like that card over there, the awe card. I love that card. I feel like we're supposed to be understanding that that's what it's supposed to feel like that 6 of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. We see it from the bigger perspective, that fondness that we felt when we were a kid, when we felt that nostalgia, right? That is how we're going to be guided. I know this was short today, and I appreciate you guys so much, and I hope this meant something for somebody today, and I will talk to you later.